to a windy North Wales and Rhyl to be precise. Oh, I've got one on. I'll be back. I am back. I've still got one rod out there. It is, as I expected, a small whiting, because just a couple of minutes before, I only just arrived, by the way, just started fishing. I did have one come off as I was bringing it out of the water. I'm fishing the harbour, and it is a particular favourite spot of mine, well, this general area, not because it's productive, but because of memories. I don't know how much I'll get in while I'm out fishing, but I've got one on the other rod. I will be back again. Where there's one, there are inevitably more, because these are shoalfish. They're great, aren't they? Whiting. Another whiting. Obviously it's very windy, it's now starting to rain as well, that is forecast. So this will probably be my last clip until I get back to the caravan. Before I do pack away though, let me show you my setup. I've got a 4-ounce sort of rolling lead there. There's not a great pull on the tide. I'm fishing eye tide, by the way, watching the other rod while I speak. I make my own rigs, my own traces, and that's attached to the line there by a swivel, and I put some tubing on there that helps to keep the line, the snood, away from the main line. And I've got a size 4 hook, quite small, because I'm expecting small whiting and possibly flounders from here. And I've got, as you can see there, some fresh lug, and then I've already mentioned the lead that's clipped on, so if needs be you can change that very, very simply. Now I've got just the one hook on there. On the other one I've got two, both fished above the lead, and as I say, it's starting to rain. It's only an iPhone 5, doesn't cope very well. I've actually lost count of the whiting that I've caught so far, so that's a great session, isn't it? Been here about an hour as the tide is now turning, and I'll see you back in the warmth of the caravan. But I'll tell you something, I don't mind the rain, I don't mind the wind. I'm going to carry on fishing, and I'll see you soon. It's knocked off raining slightly, and I'll come back with this one because it's a rockling. That was great. I definitely enjoyed that. My first sea fishing trip of the year, and Rhyl holds a lot of memories for me, because when I was a child, that's where we went on holiday, and that particular area, as I've said, is very special because that's where I used to fish, and I caught my first sea fish there as well in the 1960s, a little flounder. There used to be a pub on the opposite side to where I was this evening called the Schooner, and my mum and dad would be in there, and I would be fishing over the road, dropping down onto the estuary at low tide. You can't do that now because it's been built up, flood defences and all that. But in those days, you could just drop down. And I can remember, just like I am now, there'd be lots of holiday makers fishing, and then one by one they would go home, and I would be there right until the very end. And I would fish even when it was dark. And what I used to do, because I didn't have any tip lights or anything in those days, or even a head torch, I used to put the rod in such a way so that I had the street light behind it, and I used to lie down or crouch down and look up at the rod tip so I could see moving in the light. Great memories, great days, and that's why I do like to go back to that particular place, even though it might not be as productive, as I've said already, as other spots. It's because of the memories. Anyway, to conclude this video, here's a funny story. Embarrassing? Well, I'll let you decide. When I left the caravan earlier to go to the car, it's not parked outside like some caravan parks. There are designated car parks around the place, so you don't park next to your caravan. So I went the short distance to the car and I got my box in there, the rods, etc. And then I came back to the caravan to get my phone and the one I was recording on as well, to be charging. And I went up the steps, opened the door, went in, and as soon as I did, I realised I'd gone into the wrong caravan. And there was a man and a woman sitting there, and the woman was really surprised. "Oh my gosh," or words to that effect, she said. And the man just sat there, and immediately I knew what I'd done. So I said, "I'm so sorry. I've come into the wrong caravan. I'm in the one next door, and I've come here by mistake." And they said, "It's okay, it's fine." And the man said, "I did it myself last year when we were on a boat. I went into the wrong boat." Embarrassing? No, I didn't really feel that. I just saw the funny side of it, and they weren't nasty about it or anything else like that. I'm sure they'll laugh about it later. But it did remind me of a time when our girls were very young. They were still at home, and we were staying on a caravan. I think it was down in Pembrokeshire, if I remember correctly. And they were in and out all the while, and the door opened again, and because we had a dog, didn't want it to get out, my wife shouted, "Shut that door, will you?" It was a man who'd come into the wrong caravan, but he didn't say anything like I did. He just shut the door and disappeared. These things happen, don't they? But back to the fishing. Very good. Enjoyed it. Fantastic. And there will be more to come this week. So, as they say, watch this space. And don't forget to check out my website as well. I like to give that a little bit of a plug from time to time.